All right. Good morning, everybody. For me and the chickens out here in the Highland Desert of Colorado, we're doing real good. It's almost the end of May. Um, the floors are doing good. I've pretty much stopped heating them. Um, if they get down much lower than this, is I'll bump them up a little bit, but they're staying pretty reasonable, is what I'm trying to get at. And that's only because my wussy little feet, my legs are both kind of paralyzed from the feet down, and then it's just the one leg the rest of the time. It used to be about the knees down for both of them, but I got some use back on the other one. But nothing on the other leg. That's useless with the tail. But we're doing good. I mean, other than that, let's not worry about negative crap. Been working with the greenhouse, the pH meter. Been getting the soil adjusted out there. I did an experiment like year before last. Yeah, last year was the calm down period between letting it like adjust or not adjust, but like saturate is the and now this year I'm going to adjust out the soil and it's already working. I already have about four little sprouts out there, so it's doing really good. But too much acidity in the soil, it'll stunt the hemp. It'll stunt the seed, the sprout of the seed. Um, but that's about all it does. It does not hurt the if the plant can survive, and I don't mean the little twisted ones. I mean like you'll have a couple of them that pop up like a brand new penny. They don't seem affected at all. Those plants have a resistance to that acidity. You need to treat that um, those seed if you can get seed from it. Last year I had 11 volunteers pop up. None of them went to seed. And there was no natural pollen in the air, even though we grow like a lot of industrial hemp. I was hoping for that, for the industrial hemp pollen, but squat diddly on the seed. Um, in the plants that I had didn't. I mean, early on there was males, but they were like ruderalis males that I didn't want. I didn't want them to go any faster than what they're doing. So that wasn't a viable pollen source, but it didn't work out. Um, but but hopefully this year, like I said, I already got four popped up, so we'll see what it is. They hemp seed can stay in the ground for quite a long time. At least here, it has no problem staying in the ground. Um, like in other places, it might just rot. I mean, if you got so much heat and humidity and moisture, yeah, that's gonna go. You can't like store seed like that. Um, I mean, different parts of the world are gonna store seed much better. Like if you're cold and dry, yeah, that seed's gonna last a long time. You might not get it to sprout again without, like bringing it back, but it's gonna last a much longer time than hot and humid. Um, but that's what I've been doing. And helping a neighbor. Oh, big shout out, y'all! It is for all y'all that really like, you know, have empathy and try to pray for other people and all that kind of jazz. I got a bunch of new neighbors, and they all need like one level of like thoughts and prayers kind of deal. You know what I mean? Uh, but to move out here is not easy. I'll just be straight up and honest. This is a level of moxie that very few people have. Um, in the to make it harder because there are some assholes out here that will make your life deliberately harder um, because I guess their life is hard. I don't know the reason that they do it, but they do it. Is what I'm trying to. They'll dig a hole underneath your feet just to see you sink in the sand, so they look taller. Um, but if you can, help as many people as you can. Um, it's this new switch, and I mean new 10 years ago. Lithium was so expensive, and solar was so like um, not powerful or whatever you want to call it. It was still in its evolutionary thing. I'm gonna say now that we have lithium and sodium the sodium ion battery and the sodium graphene battery, bifacial solar panels, copper oxide, the thin film stuff. That's going to be helpful after the Thwaites Glacier calves. We're going to have a paradigm shift. Is if you're above a certain elevation, the bifacial panel is going to work just fine. If you're below that, the sulfuric rain, you need a solar panel that's encapsulated for sulfuric acid and for the UV. But the cloud, it's technical, y'all. The clouds are going to be pretty intense, and the sulfuric rain is going to make like where you see those tracks in the video, or the the little video, the oh, who made these tracks kind of shit in videos. Well, that was people trying to get the hell out the way the last time this took place. That's volcanic tuff in sulfuric acid. They were trudging through like concrete dust that was soaked in battery acid. You want to talk about a miserable fucking life? I can't imagine a more miserable way than that. That's pretty insane. And again, like I said, the way that the lab coat religion people that swear to on stacks of documentaries and stuff like that, and they tell you with tears in their eyes and a shaking voice that it's 448 parts per million in the atmosphere, and that is the cause. No, they're wrong. It's not the CO2 in the atmosphere. Yes, that's a problem. That is not the root cause. The Earth is a stardust-powered MHD. God damn it, I can't even say it. Magnet hydrometer drive. That is what Earth is. I can't say the acronym correctly. Hydrodynamic drive is what it is. But that causes our EMF. This is not like, how to say that? It's not magic, y'all. There's nothing spooky about this. Or there's nothing, whatever. Like these drives that I've been designing and sharing and posting and stuff like that. You got to think not like propulsion. You're not sitting in front of an explosion being pushed through. The drive is digging a hole magnetically and you're falling upward. That's the better way to describe what these drives do. And it's the same thing that the Earth is. So it's not, and the Earth is just slightly overheating. At some point, the Earth was hit. No, we didn't hit a fucking planet. It would have vaporized the atmosphere so many times over. It was wrong. That whole mental modeling that Earth hit another planet and made the moon, that's just utter horseshit. Maybe 1 in 100 trillion odds to 1. It might have happened if you held your breath, stood on 1 foot, rubbed your thing, blinked one eye. Otherwise, no, it just never happened, y'all. That's just fairy tale, silly shit. That's okay. It's silly is all I'm trying to get at. The Earth was probably hit by a like buckshot of asteroids. Imagine something coming past Jupiter, the gravitational ripping it apart, but instead of falling into Jupiter like that Levy 9 comet did, it pelted Earth with 2 or 3 of the buckshots, not all 24. Every one of those impacts of the Levy 9 would have utterly took out our planet. Think about it that way. There's some really big, scary shit in space. Earth is 4 billion years old. We were hit back in the dinosaur age that caused a wobble that we're still dealing with now. And that precession, or the wobble of the Earth, is why we kind of overheat. And the Earth is it's gonna do it regardless. And the reason I say it's probably is when you go to Africa, there's a section in a mountain that has a uranium strike, a dike that was when the Earth was coalescing all the stuff and bringing it in. Okay, it didn't like add it all into a big dike in a mountain in Africa. It didn't happen like that. It was all in the center, and it all amalgamated and melted and started the reaction to hold the atmosphere. That's what's holding it. Is the the oh God, don't let me get lost on this one. But I'm starting to get the but it didn't like build uranium in blobs and stuff. Okay, that's not how we get that stuff in the mantle and in the crust. That comes from activity inside the core, making a crack and injecting the material outward. That injected material into that crack is called a dike. That's where that mountain of uranium came from in Africa. And that came from our core when we were hit. And another reason why that's what I was going back to, is another reason why the whole Earth crashing another planet thing is utter horseshit, is look at Mercury, the core size, look at Venus, look at Earth, look at Mars, look at the core sizes in these planets, in the average between, and you'll see how the sun, the frequency of the sun, settled out material, kind of like a vibration table that they sipped out gold. Okay, but it's the same kind of frequency, but just in space. Because we're not sitting still; we're hauling ass through the solar system. As the moon and the Earth were they were just in the same track. That's all. And because we share a biaxial gravitationally bound orbit with the moon. Like if this is the Earth, the moon does not orbit the Earth round and round. The Earth is here, the moon is here. The gravity point is about right there, about 1,000 miles in from the crust. The Earth and Moon spin off of this axis. The Earth, yes, the Moon goes round and round the Earth, but it's not an orbit. They orbit together. Okay, this has been happening for 4 billion years since we started this stuff. More than likely, the buckshot that's in the moon on the south side, it's about 180 feet down, big mountain-sized chunk of iron, is probably one of the buckshot that hit the Earth that shattered it, that broke it and caused all this damage and wobble. That's my best guess. That's what I'm trying to get at. But do I have the computers at JPL? No. No, I don't have nothing like that. I wish. I mean, y'all don't understand how much this has really been like an interest in my life. I just didn't have like 2 lives to live. And I wanted a family. To me, my children are worth more than all the gold on the planet. I mean, each child is worth more than all the gold on the entire planet and all the asteroids. Yeah, crazy how I value, and then in the same respect, I have people say, well, you don't like inflate your child or blow smoke up its ass or what. No, I don't do any of that. I think that it's important that my child stands on its own feet. It's the same way I was raised. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's not the way you raise a child. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that was the way I was raised. I didn't come out broken too badly that I can imagine. And so I just think that your child needs to stand on their own. If you can trust their decisions when they're young, you don't have nothing to fear when you get old because they're going to do okay. Is any child going to have a problem? Probably. I'm not going to say they're not. But it's just how I look at things differently is what I'm trying to get at, y'all. But back to the deal with the Earth and the wobble. in the overheating. It's not the atmosphere. That's like going to the Death Valley. Okay, your car it run before it got to Death Valley. Or I don't know. No, that's a bad analogy for that, but it's what I'm trying to go for. The Earth operates just fine for about 125,000 years. It has a hiccup, and then it resets itself, and it works again for another 125,000 years. Now, inside that wobble, there's another cycle that's at 42,000 years old. There's another one about 27,000 years old. There's another one about 13 to 12,000 years. Each one of these cycles amplify this. Well, what's coming up in just a few years is like a culmination of all those cycles. They're all coming together at once. That was, if you look backwards in time, this would have been the precursor to when we got smacked by whatever it was that caused it to begin with. And then we were hit again after, once the big wobble, we were hit again and then hit again. And that's what caused the other little nuanced wobbles. But they're loud this morning. They're doing good though. Is the I'm trying to keep it together, y'all, on one focus on the. But it's overheating because of the ocean. We've dumped petroleum in the ocean. It's like putting on suntan lotion and going in the water. You feel like you're cooking. Or if you put that greasy stuff and you put it out when you get in the sun, you feel like you're baking underneath that. You'd be much cooler if you didn't have it on you. It's the same thing for the ocean. The ocean covers 70% of our planet's surface. What used to be a heat plume that was just barely feet underneath the surface of the ocean, and then it was like 10 feet, then 100 feet, is now over 500 feet deep. This is not sustainable, and it's not the fucking atmosphere, y'all. No matter how much the lab coat religious in all their fanatical cult following, with their shaky little voices and the tear in their eyes, and their whatever, they're just wrong. Sorry. I did not want to be right. My entire life, I promise you, I always said, these are the smart people. I am the uneducated hillbilly, so what could I possibly know? And I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm just sorry it didn't work out that way. They're wrong. Unfortunately, I'm right. And I've been correct. That's what it comes down to. Am I correct on 100% of it? Probably not. I'll just be straight. I am an uneducated hillbilly. Uneducated. Okay? This is not my field of research. This is way above the pay grade. You got to have like a university level education just to do this kind of research in any kind of setting. I don't have that, nor did I ever want it. I'm sorry. I don't want to learn about punctuation and periods and that gives me no joy whatsoever. No, I don't want to do that. Sorry, I don't want to write white paper. I don't want to do none of that. I do enjoy the research. I do enjoy the knowledge. I do enjoy the getting there, the point A to B. But do I really want? No. That's not for me. But it is the way I think, and I can't help that. That's just the reality of it. It's the way I think, and that's it. Okay, y'all, this is a long, dumb ramble. Just long and dumb. I hope that y'all are doing good. I think there are a bunch of y'all that are starting to understand what I meant. This war in Iran is not over until they say it's over, and it's not. No matter how much he lies, no matter how much he's just a con man that's playing the part of a reality show host that was successful. In life, he's a failed businessman. He just puts on the image, and they're using that. He's just a puppet. And one of the reasons I'm saying that is there was an official White House account that posted a post about the hombre, the ape that they shot when the kid fell into the pen. And Is that a shame? Yeah, it is, because the ape was not hurting the boy in any way, shape, or form. The mother should, or whoever had the child that allowed it to climb up on the fucking thing to fall into the pen, should be put in prison for not watching your child. And yes, they are quick. I know, I have a bunch of kids myself. They are extremely quick. That's your fucking job. It's not your job to take videos. It's not your job to set up little things to see what happens. Okay, that's not your job, you psychopath. Your job is to keep your child from being harmed. That's your job. And I get this with this ape, and then he had to be shot. And the only human being that I know that obsesses about this ape is Elon Musk. This is a direct account that was posted in the name of the White House with the official seal and the whole bit. Do I think that Trump even understands or knows who that ape is? Fuck no. No, that's laughably no. No, he does not. Do I think that that he has compassion or anything for what happened? No, laughably does not. He doesn't even give a shit what you're going through paying gas or food prices or whatever. He could care less about that ape. So why would somebody like Elon Musk have access to a direct White House account in the White House name? I'm just saying, who is the exact puppeteer of this orange-faced delusional geriatric? Because I don't think it's him. That's all I'm saying, y'all. Okay, we'll talk to you then. Bye.